We'll start with the roll call.
Paul St. Norman,
Maureen Buffy, Aaron Brewster.
Norma Smith and Sumpico is absent tonight. Has everybody read the minutes and do they meet with your approval?
So I wasn't here last time, so I cannot
Oh, that's
speak to
right.
that.
Mhm. We have a motion to accept.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
Second,
second, no,
she cannot because she was not here.
okay,
All in favor?
aye,
Aye.
Aye. We're going to begin with new business because we have a guest, Nick Longo, and we're going to discuss the Rhode Island Processing Companies and St. Germain store. He's brought that to our, well, we've all been driving by it and it's sad.
It is, it really is.
Yeah. You want to sit here? See you.
I see, and thank you very much for attaching the presentation to the minutes email. And I wanted to come tonight, well, thank you for the invitation, first of all, but I wanted to discuss the condition of that building and what we need to do as a community to at least get it into an arrested state of decay. And so I have some additional notes here and I'll keep it as brief as possible. So we're talking about the building on 31 Hill Farm Road. It was listed in a 1978 state of Rhode Island inventory of potential historic sites that could be put on the historic register. Each town received one of these reports from the state, and each municipality was responsible for taking it to the next step to get it on the historic register if they so desired. No movement was ever made to have that added to any historical registries. So it's sitting there now. I did a lot of research on Coventry Center with that building in mind, and Coventry Center has been a real mecca for very successful businesses since 1750. Many different mills and activities were performed there, and a really important community was established where products from Coventry Center went all over the state. In 1870, Thomas Peckham became the principal owner of Peckham Manufacturing Company. And I only bring that up because that's where it ended, and Rhode Island Processing Company came into being after the Peckhams left the manufacturing world. I have a short account of the history of Rhode Island Processing Company, which was that building was built as a store and warehouse for the company. And I want to give thanks to Paula McGuire for this account. Paula is the daughter-in-law of Claire Eleanor Gillespie, who was the daughter of Andrew Gillespie, who took over the company in 1918 from his father, William Gillespie, who founded the processing company in around 1878 when they built that store. William Gillespie was born in Scotland in 1858, and he died in Pawtucket, Rhode Island in 1917. And that's when Andrew took over. Interestingly, the founder of Rhode Island Processing Company, William Gillespie, came over from Scotland with 5 children. And he went to Maine to work in a mill there, earning $1 a day and to support his 5 kids and his wife. But he moved up. He eventually became a superintendent of a mill there, went to Massachusetts with his large family, did the same kind of work there, and then New York, and then to Rhode Island, where he bought a company that was in dire straits. The company was failing, and he, with all his expertise, was able to turn it around and then founded the company. He erected a beautiful home in Pawtucket in 1917 with every intention of retiring to a comfortable life, but died 1 week after it was completed. So Andrew took over, and he was, again, one of the 5 children that was born in Scotland. And the account that Paula McGuire gave me shows that Andrew was also very successful in business and did a very good job there. And then I had some pictures. Is it possible to pull those up? I wanted everybody to see Paula McGuire's mother-in-law, Claire Gillespie. It really adds some text here. So that is Paula McGuire's mother-in-law on the left. That's Claire Gillespie. And her parents, Andrew, who ran the company until it was until they were done with it, and his wife, Perry Gillespie. That picture was taken in the 40s, right about the time where they were closing the processing company. Okay, so from there, we get into a lot of memories of St. Germain store. This is where I did a lot of work on Facebook. I mined a lot of residents, and it's just amazing how much history is still held in people's memories. Oh, that was my relative here and there. And it's just very obvious that what your commission does is very important, because the residents of this town are really founded in their history. Everyone is still holding on to that history there. They may not get involved in government. We never see a lot of people at the town council meetings and things like that. But when you start talking about the history of a place, the internet goes crazy. So that's what I learned from all of this. So I just want to read a couple of really short accounts just to give this a personal aspect. Could you pull up that other one where there's the old Model A or whatever that was? Oh, well, first of all, that's Andrew Gillespie, proudly displaying his truck for his company. And so this photo was taken in my birth year, 1956. And I guess there was some kind of old home days or something that they were participating in. And so I got some really wonderful accounts from people that spent a lot of time at that store. To look at it today, you wouldn't know that that was the epicenter of youth for so many residents that are still around here. From 56 to 59, this Ernest Legault, and you may know some of these people. When I was a kid, we would wait for the bus inside the store and play the pinball machine. The store would be open. The postmaster would get there early. But if we wanted to buy anything before Mr. St. Germain got to the store, we would have to just leave the money next to the cash register. And if we didn't have the money, put it on a note, and we would pay him later when our parents gave us money. Those days are long gone. Let's see. And then they didn't know this either, but St. Germain's also operated a pretty successful oil burner and oil delivery business out of there. And they moved what was Pete's Pizza. That used to be the train station, the depot. And I looked at that building so many times wondering, why is it such an odd shape? And that's why, because they moved it there to be their office for the oil company. And this account is from Beryl McFadden. There was a hairdressing salon next door down the hill that my mother would go to. This was early in the 50s when we lived on Poor Farm Road. We would hang out at St. Germain's while waiting for mom's haircut. Dad would talk to everyone in the store, but often spoke to the postmaster, who I believe was a postmistress. It was super exciting if there were boys playing the pinball machine and we got to watch. So I thought that was funny because the other person over here said that they used to play pinball. I wonder, they were in the room at the same time. And then this person says that Maurice Saint Germain, sorry, was a really nice man and would always help his neighbors whenever they needed help. And then we go into the present day, and this is where my presentation picks up back where what you guys have in front of you. And you've all been past it, and you can see how alarming the condition is right now. And I don't think that the building will last much longer if they don't kind of seal it up against the elements. I wrote in here on my notes here is that the building's been neglected since St. Germain's closed the store around 1983. The underlying roof structure is collapsing and the roof shingles are degraded, allowing the elements of the into the interior. The exterior walls are losing their protective coating, which is allowing the elements to degrade various layers of the wall structure. Paul can probably speak a lot more. When you see these things, you really can understand what we're up against. And then I put a short list of things together that give us a reason to save the Rhode Island Processing Company store. It needs to be saved due to its proximity to the Trestle Trail Greenway. I consider this kind of an important access point to the Greenway. There's a lot of parking there, and it seems to be one of the busier places where people enter the trail there. And it's kind of a shame that we have such a beautiful structure that has just gone so far as it has. And I think it kind of gives people the impression of all of Coventry when they see that. I think that it's an important idea to bring that up to gateway quality. Like I said, visitors come from around the region to go to the Trestle Trail. Many visitors, what they see from the trail is their only exposure to Coventry. It's one of the remaining historically significant structures in Coventry Center. So saving this building is saving Coventry Center. So much has been lost in Coventry Center, and we're fortunate that we do have that one building that brings forth so much of the style and memories of that area. And this is something that I think that would be a good way to approach it with the state, is that in its current state, it presents a physical hazard to Coventry residents and visitors as an attractive nuisance. In other words, someone could get injured or someone could get in there and do who knows what in the building, and then we'd really have a problem. And then I did a little research on how to go about approaching the state to made our voices heard, and it's with the State of Rhode Island State Properties Committee, Department of Administration. I looked at their rules and regulations manual, and they are definitely responsible for any state-owned properties. Upon further evaluation of what I was reading, however, it seems mostly geared to working with people to purchase state properties. So I think I'll have to do a little more research as to exactly who's in authority. And I might have to reach out to somebody with the State Properties Commission, and they would probably help me from there. So that's my presentation. I would just close by urging the commission to put together an action plan and approach the state to get them to bring it up to some sort of standard to keep it until something else can be done with the building. We also are operating on a secondary track too through real estate. Councilman Pasqua, first district council person, put me in touch with a real estate agent who has clients that have been interested in the building for quite some time. They would like to make it an arts store with art shows and classes and things of that nature. So the real estate folks are working from that angle on getting to the state for a potential purchase. we were together estimating that the building is going to require at least $200,000 to bring it up to any living standard. And it was sold for $400,000 in 2006. So it could be an uphill battle getting it cheap enough to make any improvements. However, I feel that right now is a good time to approach the state because they have surplus revenue right now, and might be more inclined to help out financially with that. So, like I said, at this point, I would just urge that the commission come up with a plan to go to the state. I feel that I could contact the state, but I'm just one citizen.
I think a commission letter would. They would, well, pay attention
Yes.
than from a single person, yeah.
Exactly. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you see it that way. So, but if there's anything else that I can do, just let me know. I can help draft documents and whatever you need to assist.
Okay,
But I
great.
appreciate your help. And again, thanks for letting me come tonight.
No, I'm very glad you came.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
We just, as far as
Thank you, Nick.
national
Thank you.
registry, the commission hasn't existed that long, so for that to be placed on the national registry when it was closed,
Mhm.
just didn't happen. It
Right,
would have
oh,
the interest, but
right, exactly.
yeah, it's
Okay.
it's organizing it.
Yeah, Very
Did you
good.
have a question?
I know, but I have input.
Oh. What's that?
Save America's Treasures Grant. It's gonna open in summer. And they'll be due in fall. It is for preservation and conservations of historically significant properties and collections. So it's a property, it's
Mhm.
historically significant. Minimum requested grant value is 125,000 to 750, so it's right in that range you're saying. The only hurdle I'm seeing is it still has to be a 1-for-1 match, so
Mm.
either the town or the state have to put up the other half. But I think that it's almost as if stars are aligning to help us get this right. There's a big grant coming out that's just for this year.
Worth a
There's
try.
but we have ARPA funds that we could, like, there's a lot of
Where's the grant come from?
this is from the National Park Service.
Okay,
It's not opening until summer, so I actually don't know what the application looks like yet. But we can start getting everything together so that as soon as it starts, as soon as it comes out, we'll have most of it, and then we can go run down the other things. We can
Like the-
start.
That'd be great.
one other possible thing to at least pursue, because I get their emails every month, Preserve Rhode Island. Put out their thing today, community preservation response. CPR for threatened places, so again, they are part of someone that might be of help.
What's that one?
That's Preserve
Preserve
Rhode
Rhode Island.
Island.
They don't get that kind of money, but still they could.
No, I know, but I
assist.
mean to
Assist.
help as far as
Mhm,
direction and,
mhm, mhm.
advice and stuff like that, because one of the stories in here was about Warren, I believe it was, give me a second to find it. Where they, in order to preserve some of the old buildings that were there, they were able to put together a coalition and get it stopped. Let's see, was it Warren? Water Street Development, yep, Warren Planning Board. So they, been working on that to help with that, so that is what they do to assist in preserving historic structures, so I don't know anything about them, other than I signed up for their emails to get them and stuff like that, and as far as who to talk to or, what help they would be, but it might be worth asking,
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. So do we want to take a action to
Well,
draft a letter?
I've already
at least?
contacted them with an email
Okay,
and they're researching it. They're gonna get back to me. And then I think once
we also want to float this idea to the council, not officially, but like
Not yet.
informally, say
Yeah.
there's a grant available that might be able to help.
Well, Jacob Bejan is who I contacted, who is the historic preservation is for DOT, because I was told the building was bought by DOT as part of the bike project. And then somebody else told me it was exchanged to either DEM or the town of Coventry. Well, I know it's not the town of Coventry. And I looked it up on the tax assessor database, and it just says state of Rhode Island. It doesn't really say what.
Yeah, so
Still listed as the owner.
State of Rhode Island.
Nick said
So-
that on this, it says that Nick found it to be the Department of Administration.
Well, Jacob Bejan sent me this other link to. They help people, not consumer reporting. Customer service, which I thought was strange that the state would use that as a, but it was an email, and they are now researching with this committee. And they're gonna get back to me, but we still, but I don't know their, well, on this. The database, it gives one Capitol Hill as the address, but it doesn't say that department, it just says state of Rhode Island.
Okay.
So I'm not really sure where to send a letter yet.
No.
I mean, I don't want to just send it to the state of Rhode Island.
No,
and then
no,
it's gonna float around.
It's gotta get to the right person.
Maybe a case where Nick can find out, I know he's done quite a bit of research on it and phone calls and stuff, and he may have more
If he finds out exactly where they
Specific.
are,
information, you know,
We
that
can
you
send a
find out.
letter.
If he doesn't have it, he may have more
Yeah.
specific information on that, but do we all agree that a letter will be written?
Yeah.
To the state
I mean,
regarding it?
does somebody want to make
So
that
I'll,
a motion?
I'll make a motion that the committee formulate a letter to the state of Rhode Island regarding the preservation of St. Germain's store at
Seconded.
31 Hill Farm Road.
Seconded. All in favor?
I,
Opposed? Okay, I just want to fine tune where it goes.
Mhm.
It might
Yep.
still be one Capitol Hill, but I don't want
If you want, I can email
Yeah.
Nick to ask him if he has more, or
More
if he could
defined.
find a more,
to address.
right,
Yeah.
more specific
Department. right.
entity,
Well, yeah, I don't wanna-
person to
The
direct it to.
government's so big and they're in so many
Yeah.
buildings. I just don't want.
Did Jacob give you any idea where you might direct a letter to?
He told me to contact customer service, which that's what I did.
That's the one Capitol Hill.
No,
address?
that's what's on the tax assessor's database.
Oh. I
It just
see.
says state of Rhode Island, one Capitol Hill, but I don't know if that department's in that particular building.
Hmm.
Because the state's all over Providence, all over the state. But a lot of those state offices are all over Providence. So I just want to make sure it goes to the right location, because then they'll say they didn't get it, or whatever, they didn't find it, see it, or whatever they say.
Yep.
Okay, so maybe I'll try to fine tune that, or you can get Nick, maybe Nick can fine tune that address.
Yep, and.
Yeah.
I'm sure, again, he'll provide us with any research he's done.
Yeah.
And
No, that's great.
info on that to.
Yeah.
Go with it too, I'm sure. So this is something that he's. Been thinking about for a while
Yeah.
and brought up to me a while back, and that's why it's gone to this point, having him come here, so.
Right, and I thought it was DOT because it was all done at the time of the bike path.
Right,
So I
Right.
assumed
yeah,
DOT had it. Because at that point, I remember them saying it was going to be a stopping point, and they had talked about people renting canoes and whatever for the.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
all
They
that
were-
was
they were
talked
gonna-
about at the
They
time.
were considering making it
Yeah,
into
and there would be
a
restrooms.
thing
and-
to rent out
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, and there would be
Yep.
restrooms and whatever, so it would be a good stopping point, because Coventry is quite a stretch.
And
With
especially
no-
now that it goes so much further
Yeah,
than it did at
yeah.
that point.
Yeah, so, I mean, you can't even stop at Scaling Store anymore. Because that's closed. But anyway. Okay,
Okay.
anything else on St. Germain Store?
Yep.
Any other questions? Oops. So now we'll go back to old business. We had an art conservator come and look at the map mural. And it's gonna be $9,000 You have that there, John? I left my papers, I couldn't find them. 9,000 something. Under $10,000.
This is what you're looking for?
Yeah, could you blow that up a little bit? See how that word carpentry looks like leopard skin?
Yep,
That was solid when it was painted.
sure.
And the same thing with the elephant where it's all cracked. That is all canvas up to the edge.
Yep.
And his thing for 9,000 whatever dollars would also include putting the frame back around it. But what he would want to do is clean it and cover it with a light protective varnish. He's varnish to keep it from deteriorating more than what it has. He talked about maybe fine tuning some of the scroll work. I don't remember if that's in that estimate. You know, below the symbol.
Yep.
A little bit, but he didn't want to tamper that much with new paints and whatever. I said, we don't need to have it look brand new.
Do you know what year that mural was created?
It was created in 1941 for the 200th
Is
anniversary
that
of
what
the
it
town.
says on
Yep.
the, on the?
Right.
to the right?
1741 to 1941, and that's when the new
New building
townhouse was
was put up.
built. So that all that spans around the 200th anniversary, the new building, the mural. So it's 9,000 something dollars.
Yeah, it was like 9,800 or something like
Yeah.
that.
So the question is, where do we get that money? We've already, have you heard anything about? Do we have a grant?
I was contacted, they needed some clarification on the budget. Apparently I typed it in the wrong field. They thought we were asking for $10,000 from the federal government, not
Oh,
just,
oh.
so they changed the form
Okay.
for us so that it reflects what we're actually looking for, but that is the only thing that they've reached out for. I did look at some more grants to see if I could find something specific that could help us with the map. I didn't find anything in Rhode Island. I'm gonna expand my search to anything that applies to New England, but I don't think I'm gonna get lucky with anything, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep looking. So no, I didn't find anything specific. For the map, the OTT grant that we've been talking
Yeah.
about requires it to be 1900s or earlier, so it does not.
It does
count.
not fall into that.
But if you know of any documents that are getting old, that are older than 1900, we can
okay.
put in for that.
I've got these here, but they're not there yet. We're
Okay.
still, I'm looking for that letter, email from Herb that I sent to you. And all I get is this gibberish in computer message. It won't bring it up. You don't happen to have that, John?
You're looking for the estimate?
No, well, the estimate, but also Herb sent me, he sent us all a email. And it was a list of things we could do to get the money. And one of them was that thing you looked at.
This guy.
Yeah, and one of them was that.
Save
there were a
America's
couple of others
Treasure.
that he.
I looked at, that's where I
It's
looked,
not
I looked
coming
at
up
all
for
the other
me.
ones. There wasn't anything that
No.
would apply for the map.
Okay.
So that's not true. And there was nothing in the links for grants. The other two options, which were to solicit to your state representative
mhm.
to get it into the actual state funding. And then
Mhm.
there was a fourth option listed on there, which was fundraising, I believe.
But there's the question with fundraising is, can we do that as a town, as a town entity?
So I have it here. He said, besides the ARPA's suggestion, there may be some other sources of possible revenue to consider or apply for. And he listed 5. So number 1, State Historical Preservation and Heritage Commission promotes the following sources on their webpage, and he sends a link.
Yep, I've been through all
For
those.
financial assistance.
Mhm.
The National Park Services.
That's
manages
That's
the
this one, Save
Save
America's
America's
Treasure. The
Treasures.
minimum for a collection is $25,000, so.
Asking the
Ballpark.
state legislative delegation to sponsor a bill for such funds, or at least ask them to add it to the omnibus appropriations bill or similar bill for such requests. Number 4, independent fundraising. And 5, add the requested amount to the commission's fiscal year 24 budget request.
We haven't officially asked for ARPA funds. Do we do an application and send it in? It's way past that deadline, but they haven't done anything.
Yeah, like you said, they haven't done anything with it yet.
Yeah.
Everything kind of seems like it's in a bit of limbo with the ARPA funds.
But then again,
And that seemed to be the buzzword at
Yeah.
the budget meeting. Oh, well, we can use this for ARPA funds. We can use that for ARPA funds. So it definitely seems, I haven't talked to anybody
Yeah.
specifically, but it seems like it's on their minds that there could be potentially new projects coming,
well, the reason I say that is that
requests coming.
the time is Jen Ludwig said they didn't want anything under 20,000. And that's not 20,000. That's why we ended up doing Pine Grove. And that we were still trying to figure out what to do with it. Should we add it to the Pine Grove application? So they don't want anything under 20,000?
I would say submit for what you want and see what happens, because like I said, they had a plan, they were gonna pick something, they were
Yeah.
gonna have a second wave. It just seems like they've kind of changed direction on all of that, so
So we'll
my
just do,
thoughts are ask for what you want
okay,
and see what happens.
all right,
I don't know that that's gonna
Okay.
work, but
well.
it
let's
can't
try.
hurt.
The omnibus appropriation. Is it what that says, omnibus?
Yes,
It's a bus.
I would follow up with Herb on that one.
Yeah,
for
I'm
specific
thinking,
questions.
okay, I'll ask him. But anyway, okay. So I can contact some state reps that I know
Yeah.
and see what they say. State's got money too, but they said, well,
John, is there another bottle of water back there? Is there anything back there? You know, the bubbler? I can get a drink? No?
Not that I know of.
Oh,
it's a bubbler out there somewhere.
I think it's off.
that's
It's
all right.
between
I
the
just brought
bathrooms.
a little bottle with me.
Yeah, if you wanna try it.
You know, it's between,
Damn.
so
But I don't
Between the
think it's active.
Oh,
I mean, it wasn't, it may be fixed.
I have no idea. I haven't used it.
I'll
I
survive.
haven't tried it since I went to the school
I think
in the
it brings-
70s.
You need a cough drop?
Yeah, you got one.
Um,
You used to bring one with me, but I didn't.
okay, so are we all set with that right now?
Well, can I
Sorry.
just go back to this one thing here?
So which
It was
one?
granted, we were talking about it.
Yeah,
Stuff
or
that with
possibly
matching-
over there.
Matching
So
grant.
just explain that a little more to me,
So-
so I understand it.
there's two sources of funding. One is for preservation of properties
Mhm.
and one is for preservations of collections. So we can have a collection of one
Mm.
for this map and apply for it, but the minimum you can apply for is $25,000. And you
But-
still have to do a 1-for-1 match.
Yep,
So
but
it's,
the other, in order to send in something for that, I'm talking about Saint Germain store, now,
Mhm.
not the sign.
yes,
What would have to be done?
for properties, the minimum, so what I would assume is we would need to have built commitment. That's someone, either the state or the
Right.
town is gonna pay
Okay.
the other half. Well, because we'll end up in the same
So-
situation where with the last one.
That's why we need to, okay, that's why it's important that we contact whoever is in charge in the state,
Mhm,
drill down to find that person
right,
and, you know, that body that is actually doing it, whether it's DOT, as Norma has mentioned, or whether it is has, you know, some other,
right,
course.
until we had kind of like an informal, yes, we'll cover the
Yeah,
other
okay.
half, I don't know,
Yep.
we wouldn't be
Yep.
able to move forward. I
okay,
assume the application is gonna be roughly similar. Why, it doesn't matter, right? So the historical significance, then you're gonna have a schedule section and a budget section. So if we got buy-in, we'd have to have someone actually go evaluate the building and put together like a high level estimate of what it would cost to fix
John,
it.
could you photocopy that for me?
Sure.
So I have it, I'll never
The bottom of the first page got cut off, so I have to write there. The rest of it.
It's more so, again, talking with Nick, if he, finds out something and trying to
Mhm.
explain it or whatever, instead of trying to get a hold of you, and
Yep.
at least I'll have the info on that as to what it is. To educate myself a little.
And the more he's willing to do is good, because we can't do everything ourselves.
No. And if anything, I will say this now. Well, John's not here anyway. I think we should ask Nick to become a member of this board at some point. Because he
Yeah.
has the time. I mean, he's
We
very
have
dedicated from,
ancillary positions, right? There's 5 members and 2 ancillary, right? We don't have anyone in those 2
We don't
seats right
have-
now.
and he. But he's so interested in it,
Oh, yeah.
in this.
obviously.
I mean, it's not, I mean, I've got to know him because of this stuff.
Mhm.
And I got to know him through my grandfather's map stuff, but his interest in preserving stuff for the town is amazing. Like he goes to all the town meetings to gather information and stuff like that. But his background and what he did in his job is very helpful for
Yeah.
being able to say, thank you. So anyway, something to think about.
No, that, it's just, if they- people know what we're doing, let them do the work. They're willing.
That help us. Okay,
Okay,
grant stuff is all set.
So then I think we're still on the map. Are we
Yeah.
going
Okay.
to
I'm gonna
submit an ARPA request?
Yeah, we're gonna send an ARPA, that
Mm,
ARPA request
to the town,
to the town.
right?
But
And
we're
you,
also gonna ask state reps, because
when you would think
there's no
that the town
guarantees.
would be receptive to it, given that it is a town artifact
Mhm.
and we've
of
been talking
historical
about it
significance.
for a long while.
Hmm. Are you gonna write a letter to them? Is that?
I send it to the town manager. The application,
Yes,
should I send it here too?
yeah, that would be best, so we have something on file.
Okay, do I have to send it to council?
Hmm,
The town manager should take care
town
of that.
manager should take
No,
care
we
of
have a
that.
town manager now.
Yes,
Yes.
Dan Perillo,
Official now.
as of Monday.
Yeah, okay. I saw Bob Robillard today. I said to him, are you still the town manager? He said, no.
Yeah, if you want to hold on just 1 second,
Yeah.
that'll be. I think that they're getting away from. Using. Specific names in the emails. Let's see,
I know they had talked about doing that, because then when it changes, you don't have to keep changing emails.
yeah, so it'll just be townmanager@coventryri.org.
Okay. 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 Right, so are we done with the map for the moment?
Yep.
The grants. You haven't heard any, oh, you.
Yep, so other than I was contacted earlier this week about fixing the request amount in the application. And I got the PDF copy, which I sent over to you.
Thank you.
And that's it. They said they're just starting to review them now, so
Oh,
hopefully I will
Here soon.
hear something soon, but I don't know how long these things take.
I don't know either.
We're gonna find out.
And we already talked about that one, so we don't need to talk about that one again. Reed School. Should we,
Can we talk about the OTT grant?
who's OTT? Oh, I forgot about him.
Yes.
Yes, I'm sorry. And I brought all these papers in. The John Ott grant is for documents.
Yes.
And we had thought maybe the map, oh, not for $9,000, it only goes up to 750. So I have some of these old things that somebody gave to me a while back. This is, what is this? One of them is when Samuel Bennett sold his property to Thomas Brayton in 1740 something. So it was when the town was first starting This town started in 1741. I think it's that one. I think it's this one. I had Tom Brayton's will. That's not it either. That's not it. I have this old map, which is a
Properties. These
tract of
properties.
land situated in Coventry, was surveyed and platted at Coventry. Aforesaid this 6th day of time in 1801. By somebody Green Surveyor. I don't really know what it's of, but it's a map. Right. There's one here that pertains to the town farm. And. Yeah,
Does that mean that the poor farm?
poor farm, yeah. But they're hard to read.
Hmm.
I mean, there's a bunch of them here, and, you know, they're all old. But this one, I think this is the one for the town farm, but I'd have to go back and read it again. But this is the one when Samuel Bennett sold his property to Thomas Brayton. So Bennett Falls became Braytonton. And this date is. Okay, where are you? But I'm gonna take this to town hall because there's no seals on it and see if they have the original in town hall. And maybe this one could be preserved and displayed. Because it goes back to the very beginnings of the town, and where the heck is this date? It's very, what's interesting about this, he says Samuel Bennett from Coventry in the county of Providence, in the colony of Rhode Island and Providence plantations in New England, which is pre-United States. It goes to the colony. And he bought, it was British money. When he sold,
That is interesting.
yeah, the Braytons came from
From England.
Portsmouth to here.
Yep.
Francis Brayton was the one that bought Payne House. Thomas is a brother, and that's the one in that Brayton burial ground.
Okay.
Now, he ended up. I need somebody else to look at this. It's old script. And it's old English, so it's, I need to sit and write it down. Yeah, but it's very
Trying to
difficult to read.
understand the way they've worded things is what's
Right.
difficult.
Well, it's their legalese of the
Yep.
time too, so, this particular thing, it was Samuel Bennett's property that the town started in. It was his house, it wasn't a tavern yet,
Mhm.
it was his house for the first election. And first town
Up
meeting,
near Madison Road,
no, here,
no, over here.
Payne House.
Oh, at Payne House. okay.
First, then it moved out to
Okay.
Waterman Tavern or
Right.
whatever,
Yep.
and then they built a town hall house out there.
Mm.
But this pertains to Washington. What we know, now as Washington, and I'm still trying to find this date, it's
It was right
17,
next to me.
I think it's right next to you, 1743, the town started in 1741. So it goes back to the very beginning of the town, so I'm gonna take this to
Yeah.
town hall. There's supposed to be seals here, some of these have seals. This particular one does not.
Yeah.
So I
Wax.
want to see if this is just a copy that was written. And if they have the original one, maybe we could have that preserved.
So that's
Could
what
you not?
grant would be.
Yeah, that's why I'm
Document
bringing,
preservation.
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah, well, I mean, we'd have to find somebody who does the document, but. And then there's a few others, I don't know. The one that pertains to the poor farm, which is 18 something. But this one in particular is the earliest one we have. There's also an early one for Situate in there.
I have some early stuff, but it's not
Yeah.
that old. It's from 1840s.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I
Asher
was,
Madison.
this guy gave me these, and there's another one for a Nathaniel Green, a Nathaniel Green property,
Wow,
not Nathaniel with an E.
yeah.
There was another thing, Nathaniel Green, off of Hartney Hill Road. His grave is there. Says he was in the Revolution too, but there was no
Mhm.
record of him. He sold land to, he's over by Zeke's Bridge. It
Okay.
pertains to Zeke's Bridge. So I've got that in here too.
Hmm.
I mean, I'd have to go through it again, but,
Yeah, those are interesting.
you know, we pick 2 or
Yeah,
3
Yeah.
whatever, from this pile of old things.
Okay, so I'll look to see
Yeah.
what information's required to, for the application and.
I'm gonna leave this one on the top, because this is the Samuel Green, Samuel Bennett one. And I've got James Manchester's will in here, from Manchester Farm.
Yep.
I mean, I've got a lot of little old bits, we can't do them all at one time, but I think they're interesting. It would be nice to have them on display somewhere in protective covering. So is everybody okay with that?
Sure.
I'll take this one here to town hall and have them look at it. Any questions? And maybe we'll get some funding for that. And I'll let you know. Erin, they pass all the grant things to you now.
Fine, I'll go figure out what we have to have to submit it, and then I'll
Yeah, but if we can.
probably pictures and things like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Okay,
Okay,
any more on grants?
No,
Reed School. Is it time to look to paint the pole?
almost
not
April.
quite yet.
it's almost April.
I'm anxious.
Well, it's gonna be warm enough, so.
Okay,
Did you go
Mid-April.
before it started raining?
Yeah, but
It was
it's
warm
cold in the
enough.
morning. The problem is that,
it's cold.
you know, the metal's cold, whatever.
Yeah.
So
Um,
you're gonna have it where the nights are above 45. I know
Okay.
last night was, but
yeah, I know last night was like.
you don't want
Yeah.
to do it and then have it ruined, so.
yeah.
And the painter is not gonna do it and then have a problem and then have to come back and do it. But Reed Schoolhouse, yes, so the painting of the pole. What about has anything more been done about having Donna Wedge and the
I
people
referred
from?
her to the town manager.
Okay,
And that's up to
that's how
that.
that was
That's-
left, yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't know if we had to do anything.
no,
No,
no, I just referred, I tried to contact Bob a few times and he said, be patient.
Mm.
And I didn't want to be too pushy.
yep. All right, I
So-
just didn't know if we were supposed to do something.
No, the last week
Yeah.
I gave him his number, but now he's not town manager
Okay,
anymore, so maybe he said.
Yep.
Because I even had suggested to her that they postpone for another date.
Hmm.
Because everything's still in turmoil at the town, I mean, we've got a new guy now,
Yeah.
but she didn't like that idea, so I just.
Something I was wondering
Town
is,
manager.
was that for a one-time event? Was that what
yes,
was the idea? And
Yeah.
then maybe possibly something in the future, I would imagine.
Yeah.
yep, I mean.
But not a regular, it wasn't
The
a,
issue is the liability.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
But-
yeah.
again, that's between them and the town, but it was, they wanted to do it and probably would do it more than once, but.
Yeah.
We wanted to
Again,
do it in
I-
April, but they're running out of time, obviously.
Yeah,
So I just said, you're gonna have to talk to a town manager, and now it's somebody else, so I don't know
Mm.
what she's done about it.
Okay.
DOT. DPW has a key. If they wanna let them in, I don't
Yep.
know. Just haven't heard anymore.
well, it's not in our court, so that's the whole.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, I just haven't heard
Yep.
anymore, and, it's in the town manager's court right now. Did you ever get to look at the windows? About the ventilation?
No,
Okay,
not to, again,
when you get to it,
yep,
but I'm gonna.
but if you
gonna
are
ask
in
you-
the area or whatever and
Yeah.
it's probably
Take some
something that's
pictures.
only gonna happen in the winter.
Yeah.
So we're probably not gonna see it now. As soon
Probably,
as it gets a little warmer, then you
Yeah.
don't have that.
my concern
go
was the
on.
wood,
Right, I understand,
Yeah.
so whether or not
It was condensation.
it's in between the
in
plexi and
between.
the
we have
glass.
some fluctuation of temperatures
Well,
a few weeks back,
It's a common problem when you have, it's
Is the
unheated
plexiglass on the
inside.
Side of the building or the outside?
it was between the glass.
We put the plexi on the outside to protect it from the
between-
windows getting broken or rocks thrown or anything like that.
Yeah.
But with an unheated building, the moisture that's in the building will get trapped. You'll get a warm
Mm.
day and then it'll get trapped there. If it was heated inside, you'd never see that.
Right.
Years
Anyway,
ago,
The solution to it is you drill small hole, couple holes in the bottom
just
to
to
let
re-
the air
Yeah.
circulate.
years
Yeah.
ago, there was a fluke in temperatures at Payne House, I remember, well, it was everywhere, but at Payne
Mm.
House. It was like sub-zero, and we had like a 60-degree day.
Yeah,
And we went in the next day, and it was raining in Payne House.
Mm.
It was dripping inside because of the fluctuation of
Yep.
temp.
Okay.
So, okay, that's pretty much all I want to do about Reed.
Pink Granite.
Yeah, did you talk to them?
I'm gonna be,
I sound like I'm a haunt.
no, I did talk to them. I gotta
Okay.
meet with them and give
Okay.
them the info. And I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna try and do it next week. Again,
Yeah.
it's, I'm in my
And there again,
medical rehab phase
yeah,
right
yeah,
now,
okay.
okay? So 2 days a week, I spend 4 hours doing this program that they're doing for hot rehab. So it
okay,
has limited my time during the week to do stuff, and I got that for 8 more weeks. So anyway,
okay,
but I already feel a little better, so
Oh, good.
it's worth doing.
good.
I gotta do it.
It's just time
I don't have any
consuming.
choice.
Well, it's time consuming.
This
It
is
is
for the,
time consuming.
this is for the 3D model that
No,
we're talking
well,
about.
it's like a 3D pictures of,
Yep.
images for them.
We
to
have
create.
to RFP that. Or it was under the value that we didn't have to do
It's
like
under it,
one of,
yeah.
it's always under the value, so we don't have to like go out and get,
No.
As far as we know right now, it's under the value.
excellent.
Anyway.
And the
So, yes,
signs.
I've
Oh, sorry.
made the initial contact with him, talked to him
Yeah.
about it, and I've just gotta bring him. I'm gonna meet with them at their place in Phoenix where
Mhm.
their shop is.
I'm super curious, if you, when you get the time, can you email me, and if I happen to be free, can I go with you?
Can I what?
I'm super curious, so if, when you get the time, email me, if I happen to be free, I wanna go with you,
Oh, okay,
when you meet with
yeah,
them.
okay. Very interesting group. They do a lot of really incredible 3D stuff
Yeah.
for real estate developers, things like that too.
Well, it's
But they
good.
have the drones, so they can do the drone footage of things if you need it and that too, but.
See,
anyway,
using technology to preserve history, it's great.
Yep. Okay. I will write it
And
down.
the visual is always better than just saying,
Yeah.
we want this,
Well, Paul made a very good picture, though. Your drawing works for me. I understand what we're doing now because of what
Yeah.
you drew out.
Yeah, just. Their thing, is again, they're gonna make it realistic, because they'll put some people in there and
Mhm.
stuff like that too, to
Yep.
do it. I mean, I could do that if I wanted to do like I used to when I was young and draw the whole thing out in perspective and do it, but I don't have the time. I don't. You think I would, but I don't.
Oh.
So,
So,
mm,
oh, that's what I wanted.
signs.
Did I send you a bronze link? Could you bring that up? For the town hall, townhouse stone,
This one?
yeah. It's a link, right?
Yes, this
Can
is the
you put it
website.
on, click on products? Because we were talking about doing something like that on the stone, or do we want to just etch it in?
For.
The town hall and Maple Valley Road, Madison.
Oh,
Road.
for that stone, yeah.
Sorry,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
over
Okay,
there.
I'm sorry.
Sorry,
Go back on
sorry.
the other. My brain
I'm
hadn't
moving
caught
on to
up.
signs. Start looking into something like that.
So I'm thinking it would be something that you can see from your car, because it's not really an area where you can
No.
readily
Yeah.
park your car and get out
It's
and
just an
walk
offer.
and go
How,
read anything.
how visible is the stone now?
It's very clear right
It is
now,
cleaned out around
but
it?
there's, and then on the one side of it, there is like that pretty significant drop off. The ditch on the side of the road for the
Right, the
for the
drainage.
water, so you're not gonna park over
No.
there.
Yeah,
No,
And the other one is right at the T, so I think it's close enough to the street where you could read something at least, because you have to slow down to stop at
so
the end of the road.
your idea is to attach it to the stone that's
that,
there,
or
correct?
just etch it, but people might need to get out to really see what the etching says.
Yep.
That
Hmm.
they can read from a distance. I was thinking about, what's his name, that does stones,
Yeah,
can't think of his name off the top of my head.
Is that on town property?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Because it was a town hall, townhouse, they were townhouses
Mhm.
before they were town halls. The first, they met in taverns first. Then Waterman Tavern, which is on Maple Valley Road.
I mean, is the stone we're talking about
The
currently
stone-
on town
The
property?
stone is on the corner, and that's where the first townhouse was built.
Yep.
And at that time, they had quarterly meetings. They didn't have monthly or this, like we do now.
But there's no
It's just quarterly.
remnant of the structure, is that correct? There's
There
no
could be.
remnant.
There
No.
could be, I don't know.
Unless it's
Could
in
be
the woods.
ground,
You'd have to go dig.
Yep.
Yeah. Huh.
But the stone is, looks like somebody intended for it, because the way the stone is set.
Yeah, to get it carved or
What was the
something.
significance of that particular stone? Was it like part of the, was it a step or part of the
I don't know.
building or just
Yeah.
some
Just happens to be
random,
conveniently
some
located
shape?
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
was this a convenient
Yeah.
shaped flat stone?
Probably. I had no idea it was even there until who brought that up. I know it's on my grandfather's map, but
Yeah.
I never, it's one of those things.
You don't
don't
see
notice.
everything
Yeah,
when you look at a map,
Yeah.
yeah. But that's the first townhouse. The second one was Phillips Hill Road. Until they built that one in 1941 in Washington. And then this one in the 70s, I think it was. This one was built in the 70s.
Mm.
The bunker, people have said it looks like a bunker.
anyway, it was Brian Giat that does the carving.
Hmm.
So that's the question. I
Okay.
mean, do you do a plaque which probably reads better?
Mm.
Because you can see it more.
Which one do you think would cost more? Not that it's about money, it's about what is easier to see, but is it that getting a
Well-
plaque and attaching it gonna cost more than carving an equivalent into the stone?
Probably costs less to do the carving, only if you have Brian's people do it,
Mhm.
because they're local or whatever. I don't know. I can ask him. I have to talk to him anyway, it has nothing to do with it, because he's doing a stone for my aunt's grave. And I gotta give him information on it, so I can ask him about
If you could
what's,
get-
I have no idea what something like that costs. What will we be putting on it?
Well, that's, just location.
Okay.
This site
This
was
site-
the
site of the
location.
first-
Yeah.
Town
And estimate and here.
house, town hall,
Right.
whatever.
Something like that.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be a lot of words.
No, it
So-
doesn't, you don't have to give a history, just as a marker.
When I talk to him the next day, so I'll ask him to get some sense of what, of course, and because I have no idea what those are, but
Well,
I
I didn't-
imagine they're expensive.
They probably are, they're bronze, but I just wanted something for you to
Yep.
see what what
Mm.
the bronze would look like.
Yep.
Certainly don't want plastic.
The only good thing is if it's carved, someone's not gonna go and
True,
steal it
somebody
off of
might
it, which
steal
is
it.
what I always worry about on
Mhm.
one of these, is that some
Don't try it out.
jerk is gonna go and pry that thing off of there and steal it for the metal.
So if it were carved, could the letters be blackened?
I think so.
So they,
Yeah.
because you don't want
Right, to
people
make it
going
stand
into
out.
that stone if there's a drop off,
Yep.
trying to figure out what it's
Yeah,
reading.
okay, I'll ask Brian to learn a little more about it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I just wanted the visual. The
Yep.
visuals are always better.
Yeah, that's just, that drop off is on the Maple Valley side.
Yeah.
From the Madison Road side.
Not really.
No, there's not really the
Yeah.
drop off over there.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay.
And then did we ever decide anything about the Harris sign or?
Well, we had left it with John to see if you could possibly find out who did that originally.
There's no
No,
information here.
no information. No idea when it was done?
No.
No,
Paul Sprague did it, that's all I know. Paul Sprague had it done.
Paul Sprague, so how far back
Probably
was that?
It could
In
have
a
been,
drawer somewhere, the information and, that was 4 directors ago.
yeah, I know.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's from what I remember, it's just by memory. It was when they started with the historic tax credits for the mill.
Mhm.
And they got it on the National Register and it was gonna be developed, so it goes back to when the mill was
Yeah.
going to be developed.
That's what I was
Okay.
wondering, if it was connected to that somehow.
Well, I think, and Paul Sprague had it done, but I don't know.
Can someone
Any
ask
more
Paul
about-
Sprague?
um,
Do you have any
I
contact with
have
him?
no
Well,
idea.
I do. I mean, again. I don't have personal contact with him, but he's married to my wife's first cousin, so.
Oh, okay,
It's a small world, huh?
So I'm
Has
sure Susan probably can find out the number. Who's,
because he'd be the one to answer that
Why
question.
does
Yeah,
it
I know,
matter
I know.
who made it the first time?
We want to know where he had it made and whatever, and it's not that readable now, is it readable?
It's not, it's really in bad shape.
Yeah, I mean, what he had on it, I don't really know, I think he had the history of Harris, Which I don't,
You didn't see the picture of it?
oh, she wasn't here.
Okay, that's right, you weren't. I'll show you.
Oh, yeah, you can't even read that anymore.
Because the coating on it, whatever that was
Mhm.
that they put on, is completely peeling away and it's pulling the letter, the
Mhm.
lettering and everything with it, so.
With that sign.
Yeah.
Over there.
What is it made of, metal? Is it metal underneath? What is
wood,
this,
isn't it?
plastic?
Is it wood?
Let me just take a look again.
It doesn't look like it's way too good of a shape. to
No,
be wood.
it was metal underneath.
It is
Oh,
a
is it
metal
that sign,
sign.
sign material, but it's not really a metal. Well, it is a metal. And I only know about it because I had signs made for myself for my
Mhm.
business. At one point, I had like 4 of them made with that type of metal. And it comes in the color, so then it gets cut and then you put the signage on it, but it's the coating on it that is just totally deteriorating at this point. So,
Mm.
I mean, basically, I think what happens is you just gonna scrap that sign. It's not like.
Oh,
you're
yeah,
gonna
we
do
can't
it.
save that.
It would have to be
No,
a
we're
new
not gonna
sign,
save-
so
Yeah,
it
but
would be a question.
it would be nice to know what's on it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure I could figure it out. Yeah, you can read it,
Can you, when you
Yeah,
get
you
real
can.
close to it?
but I don't, again, and I don't know that, again, it would have to be a sign company to look at it and say, oh gee, well, we can take that coating off and recoat it. But you can see the lettering through it when I blow it up.
Okay.
So it has the whole story there on it. Easy enough to do, but
All right.
as to what the solution is, whether it's a new one, or they can take that coating off and do it, it's probably most of that is usually done with lettering that they take and print first, with the computer, put it in and then put the letters on. It's not
Okay.
painted on. It is all done that way.
Hmm.
But
Okay,
we'd have to have a sign company go look at it and say, okay, this is what it would cost to do this brand new and
Mhm.
install it.
Mhm.
Is that what you're looking to do?
well, and then again, do you need a sign with that says that much? We're gonna be doing the the
don't
brown
know.
signs. It's
have
not
to,
something you read as you drive by.
I'll have to blow it up and print it so I can read.
I mean, like, there is the potential for pedestrians to approach that, because it's right next
Well,
to the walking,
Yeah.
it's right
And
next
there's
to the
gonna be
path.
more of that with the
Yeah. Yeah.
restoration of that building into
Yeah,
apartments that they're
exactly.
doing right there as well.
So
maybe
there's,
it is worth.
there's more of a potential for
Yeah.
pedestrians to
Yeah,
view the sign.
yeah,
Right, well, we can maybe table that till fall, bring it back up again in the fall.
yeah. We can ask around, I can ask in my travels,
Yeah,
about
it's
that, to
not
find out.
priority as far as that is concerned.
I used to have a sign company, used to do that stuff for me, whatever, but they went out of business, so I haven't had any need for doing anything, so I don't have a contact right now. But I can do
Mhm.
ask some questions,
Okay,
okay?
do we have public comment?
Nope.
Nobody? We need
Nobody.
to run home and
I'll
get
get
on
you.
his computer.
No,
Okay. Anything else anybody wants to bring up before we adjourn? Do you have anything about brown signs? Just you're waiting?
No, but I was thinking about it. It's been a solid month and I haven't gotten any
Yeah.
feedback from them, so I was just thinking
Oh.
about that. I should check in with them. Why hasn't anybody acknowledged me?
Yeah. Oh, nothing at all?
Nope. And I
Um,
copied it to multiple people.
John,
so
did you
it's
want
really
that,
not-
that was from the plant, I mean,
And the other day I mentioned
since
to
Ian didn't come.
Maureen about the French soldier that's buried on Plainfield
Yeah.
Pike, some sort of signage or something for that. For where he around there about where he is.
Yeah,
Would that
yeah,
be-
I don't know about that, but there's not even at this point, there's not even a state sign for the historical cemetery, so there's not even a sign for it, so
So there
that would
should be
be
a sign.
there at a minimum, it should be a
Yeah.
sign, but It's kind of a, right, it's the location that, because the first person that I was with in trying to identify the exact spot actually had it on the other side of the street, was over on the other side of the street. And then years later, when I came by to show to my brother, he's like, no, he goes, read these directions again. And so I'm reading it and he's like, that's not over there. It's over here on this side. And that's where we climbed up on that embankment, and the directions are literally like by this like pine tree, this old pine tree and this oak tree and all of that. And but the spot that we found definitely made more sense because there was definitely a remnant of a flag. It was up on top of that hill. So I'm like, so apparently somebody else thought this is the spot,
Yeah.
not just us.
It'd be nice to have some
But it
sort of
does need,
marker.
it definitely needs, just by state law, it needs to have a.
In
sign.
Concord, what they did, they have near the bridge, you know, when they shot it,
Yep.
beginning of the American Revolution, they have I think 4 British soldiers buried, and they deeded that property to Britain.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, not that we're gonna do that, but I always thought that was interesting. Now we
Yeah.
have our little French guy there
Yeah,
that is certainly not an American. That we could put some sort of marker.
yeah, it definitely, I'm glad that I saw that you mentioned that, and
Yeah.
I said I might have missed it for this round. But
Yeah, but you know,
that definitely needs to have a
yeah,
sign
at least as
for
historical
protection,
cemetery.
for the location, so
Yeah.
that somebody doesn't do something goofy.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything else?
No, ma'am.
Are we all set?
Okay, I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,